Alright, so just wanted to make a quick video about my system. Pretty much got it dialed in now. Had to redo a couple settings on the amp, resetting everything according to how JL wants it for the TwK 88. You know, putting all the input sensitivity to the 12 o'clock position, and then tuning it right here through the output. You know, playing the peak noise at 3/4 volume, and then those bars over to the right shouldn't exceed the yellow. You know, they shouldn't get into the red. I did mine a little bit different. I put mine at 38 out of 40, only because I don't want any distortion when I turn my radio up. I know this it's a Pioneer 5100 Nex. It plays clean all the way up to 40 as long as those outputs are set right. So most songs will play well without any distortion or clipping at 38. A few I have to turn it down, and then a couple I can turn it all the way up to 40 with no issues. But I was driving, coming from the grocery store, listening to my radio, listening to some test songs, you know, because I just made these changes to the amps, to the output level trim, and to my EQs. You know, I tune it with the what is it? Audio Control SA 4100i. Yeah, the 4100i. You know, the little portable RTA. It does a pretty good job of making quick work of setting your EQs. You know, you play your pink noise at full volume. You know, for me, I play it at 38. You know, 35 to 38. My peaks I bring down. You know, and then the dips I bring up. I boost them. You know, I don't. As you can see, I don't have any that are above positive 3 dB. You know, I'd rather cut than boost. But I was listening to a few songs, and the one that stuck out to me was Pitbull, Bojangles. Right around the 1 minute mark, there was a lot of hissing, and it was real loud. To me, it sounded like it was, you know, around the 3 or 4K mark. It sounded like I needed to bring my tweeters down, which I did. I had to bring them down anyways, but the hissing was still there. So what I did, you know, I turned off each speaker until the hissing went away, and then right here, my mid ranges, my 4-inch mid ranges, is when the hissing went away. So turn my tweeters off. Hissing was still there, so I knew I had an issue with my mid ranges. Then after that, it was just a matter of finding what frequency it was. I pulled out my RTA. All the output looked good. You know, there weren't any real high peaks. The one peak I had, I think there was one around 1,000, but I'd already cut that one. So since I couldn't really find it on the RTA, I put that up. Put the RTA up, and I just started tuning in by ear. And the way I did that was, so it ended up being 2,500 was where I needed to cut. But this was set at 1,000. I think this was 3, and this was -4. And I had a dip at 1,000, not 100, 1,000. So I kept trying to find it, and eventually what I did, I remember the video that I saw, I think from JL Audio, where you can just move this around where you need it, but you know, wasn't really working that well for me like it is now. It kept trying to right click on this Microsoft Surface. So what I did, put this at -9, put that I think at 1.26 or 1, whatever, and I just use these arrows, right? You can fine tune it, just make small increments. I moved it till the hissing went away, and then I moved it a little bit more to make sure that it went away. So as I moved it past 2,500, hissing went up, go back down, 2,500, hissing went down, move below 2,500, hissing went back up. So I'm like, all right, it's at 2,500. So I'll go back to 2,500, and then changed my dB, right? so I can get the most sound I can get without the hissing. And I went up to all the way up to 5. Let's see where my preset 2 is at. Yeah, okay, -8. So this is where the hissing was. I was good with it. I was content. But the point I'm trying to make, right? So I went up to -5. Hissing kind of increased. So I went back down, and then I messed with the Q a little bit. So where did I say -8? -8 dB, 1.26 Q. 1.26. Oh, 26. So as I did this, right, as I messed with the Q and the gain, I just disabled it. You know, as I disabled that EQ, hissing comes back, obviously, right? So now turn it back on, turn the EQ back on, hissing goes away. So I just find a happy medium, right? I find somewhere where there's a good compromise between little to no hissing, but not cutting the gain too much, not attenuating it too much, and using the Q by not affecting too many frequency ranges. And this is where I'm at right now. I'm sure in the future I'll probably change it up a little bit more. You know, as I find other songs, maybe I'll find that I cut it a little bit too much or the Q is too wide. But for right now, I'm happy with. But it's a little trick how to find a frequency that is too low or too high. You know, just play around with the EQ. You know, just move it around, set it all the way down, 9 dB, -9 dB, and move the frequency around until you find out where it sounds good to you. Sometimes that's what you have to do rather than relying on the RTA. All right, thanks a lot.